So now that we have downloaded the credit card transactions from the credit card website, we're going to go ahead and analyze them using pivot tables. So the first thing you want to do is clean up the data, remove everything that's not relevant, and keep the stuff that is relevant. So here are the four fields you're going to need. You're going to need the date of the transaction. You're going to need some kind of a description of the transaction, so like the location where you spent the money, right? You're going to need an amount, and you're going to need a category. Those are the four basic fields, the four basic columns you need. If you want, you can, so some credit cards might tell you if you have a joint account or something, might tell you which person spent it, but that doesn't really matter. And also whether it's cleared or pending doesn't matter for our purposes either. So we're going to get rid of that. Now we have these columns, right? So we do have the date, we do have a description, we do have the amounts, but notice how there's debits and credits. So debits is what you spent, and then a credit is when you pay your card or when you get a refund, right? So we don't need the payments because that's not something we spent. That's just money. That's just us paying back the card. So the first thing you want to do is sort this so you can get rid of the payment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this on the headers here. Go up here to data, click filter, and now I can go ahead and sort this A to Z, or I can just sort it by credit because that's probably the easiest way. Get rid of the payments. So you notice here how all of these are payments: online payment, payment, right? Right there. So those are all payments. I'm going to go ahead and delete those by right click. Oops, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and go all here, online payment, right? And then just right click, delete, right? And we're also going to get rid of this one, right? Now these ones are negative as well, so that means that money coming back into the card. But as you can see, they're reimbursements. This is when I bought a sleeve of paper cups, and I didn't realize it was $18, so I returned it. And this was a vending machine that didn't work. So we're going to go ahead and copy both of these and just put them in this column. And I'm going to rename this column amount. And then here, I want to rename it category. Okay? And the easiest way to do this, to bulk update your categories, is just do A to Z. And then just, like Pollo Loco is food, food. 7-Eleven was also food. This is travel. And this is for your home. You can do whatever appeals to you. So however you want, if you want to track how much you're spending in a restaurant versus groceries, you can do that too. So we could do, for example, here we can do restaurant, right? Then here for Aldi, we can do groceries, right? So it's really up to you. I don't really separate those things, so I'm just going to leave it as food, but you can do whatever you feel like. So Airbnb, that would be travel. This is also food, food, food. MC, that's movies. I just put that under entertainment. And then, so this is gas. Um, and let me just finish this and I'll get back to you. All right. Now that I've added all of these categories, we can go ahead and start analyzing it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click somewhere on here. Now, what I generally recommend is to select the whole column. That way, if you maintain this as your regular, like you regularly download your credit card statements and you can paste them underneath so you can update the pivot tables we're about to make. But just clicking on here, if you just need a quick analysis, you can just click anywhere in the data, right? Not outside the data, in the data somewhere, right? So we're going to go here, either do this or do this, and we're going to go ahead, click Insert, Pivot Table, and you can see how it's telling you what is the range of data you want. And we can see how when you click on the data, it goes right up to the bottom. Now, if you were to click this, notice how that would change as well. So we're just going to do that. And we're going to put it on a new worksheet like this. So click OK. And this is your empty pivot table. Now we need to put them into the different categories. We have the four empty fields here, the filters, the columns, rows, and values. And we want to think to ourselves, okay, how do we want to see this? Well, for me, I like to see the categories in the rows, and I like to see the months in the columns. So we're going to go ahead and take the category. We're going to drag it down here to rows, so it looks like that, see? And then we're going to take the amount, and that will always go in values, so you have the numbers, right? And then we want to break it up in the columns by the date. So And Excel is pretty good at this. It understands you don't want every single date. You want either the years or the months or whatever. So I'm going to drag it in here. And if you get something that's weird, like this worked out for me, but if you get something that's weird, you might need to investigate. So we only need the months. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it out, right? So I don't have it, and I'm going to drag out the dates because I don't need the specific dates. I just need that, right? Um, and so now there you have it. It's broken up, right, into the different categories. You can see what you spent. And this is a great first step. This is the only thing most people need, but you can also do something special with it. You can create a chart, right? So we're going to click somewhere in here, right? And you can filter by here if you like, right? So if you don't want, if you only want to see what you spent on food, right? You can click that. You can see what you spent on food, but there's a better way to do this. So I need to click that, right? So I'm going to go here to insert, and I am going to make what's called a recommended chart, right? So I'm going to we can either do a bar chart if you're trying to do it by, um, but either a bar chart, or we can do a pie chart. I'll take a pie chart since we're going to go by month. Click OK, right? And this doesn't, sorry, let me get rid of this. Unselect that. I don't know why this is here, but there we go. And so now let's right click on this and get rid of these field buttons, right? And then finally, we want to do what's called a slicer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on, I want to filter it by, let's say by month. So let's scroll down here, right click on here, and we're going to add as slicer, right? And so that gives us the months. And here we have some that are not there yet. So we're just going to right click here, slicer settings, and then hide items with no data. So I'm going to do that. So now all we have is only the data we have. So let's say February, right? How much did I spend in February, right? You can see how that's broken up, right? Another thing you can do is add this. Get rid of that. You can add the data label. So let's go ahead and do that. Now you see how much you spent in each of those things. But this isn't enough for me. This is not good. So I want to add the names, right? So I'm going to go hover over data labels, click the little arrow, more options, and we're going to do the category name right there. So we have that and the amount. We can also do percentage, but I don't really feel the need. So we're going to go ahead and unhide that. So here we have the categories and the amount. And if you want to add dollar signs, you just select everything and click on this little dollar sign, and your graph will be updated. So that's for February, right? You may need to do the same thing for the others, or maybe set this up before we create the slicer, but it kind of shows like what, how much you spent on each thing. Now, let's say we want to know not what we spent by month, but we want to know what we spent by category. So here's a better way to do it. So let me go ahead and get rid of this, right? And let's go ahead and clear this, that. So now we have everything. Now, I want to reverse it. I want to put the months in the rows, and I want to put the category in the columns. So how do I do that? Well, one way is just to drag this here. And you can see how if you do the months on top of the category, it shows how much is in each category, right? And another way to do this is by right-clicking, expand all, expand entire field, and then you have all that, right? Or you could do the other way. You can see how many months or how much you spent per month for each category. See that switched it right there. And then we want to put the categories over here for the other way. So then we have the months, and then the categories are up top. Now, this is useful because you can do a different type of chart. So let's go here to recommended charts. We're going to do a bar chart this time. Click a column chart, click OK, and let's get rid of these field buttons. I don't like them. And we can use a slicer for the categories this time. So let's go ahead and right click on category, add as slicer. And there you go. Now you'll be able to see, if we click on car, you'll be able to see how much you spent on your car each month. Go ahead, click on donation, click on clothes, So that's another useful thing you can do with this. Now, ultimately, when you finish this, it's going to look something like this. We're going to have you're going to have something like this. You're going to have stuff you add constantly to it. you add stuff to the bottom. Every time you update something, so let's say, for example, notice how I have all the categories here, right? I have these specific categories, right? And let's say I'm like a collector of, I don't know, pogo sticks, right? So that's like I don't have a pogo stick category here. So if I were to go here and change this to say, I don't know, pogo sticks, right? Right? You're thinking maybe that should update here, right? But it doesn't, right? And the reason for that's one downside of pivot tables is it doesn't update automatically. So what you have to do, notice how I changed this category to the pogo sticks, right? So what you got to do is go back to that, right click, and then refresh. There it is, pogo sticks. I'm not really sure why it didn't come up in here. I apologize for that, but it does update once you hit refresh, right? So we have different ways to do that. So, you will hit snags, but these this is a great way to track your expenses and analyze where the money is going. Because money wants to move, money wants to go, So the more you control your money, the more you watch where it's going, the better you will be at assigning the money jobs. So that is all for this time. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, send me a message, and I will do my best to walk you through it if you're having trouble. All right, thank you.